All you keen geographers, and welcome to another how-to video. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you how to use ArcGIS, more specifically how to make a map using ArcGIS with data that you have already collected through Survey 123. So I've got my data file here ready to go. When you're doing Survey 123, it's really important that you set your data up correctly. So you can see I've got all my different selections and questions along the top. We've also got our global ID position, which is going to help us when we go to upload our data to ArcGIS. So I'm going to show you now. You need to be signed in on an account with ArcGIS as well, and then you just want to go to the map viewer as well, which you can navigate to in the tab. The first step is to actually put your data onto ArcGIS. So you click on this little drop down button here under layers, and then you go add layer from file. You can drag and drop it. You can see there's different types of files you can upload as well. We're uploading a CSV file today. So I'm just going to be uploading some transect data we have from White Island at the Port of Brisbane from a few years ago. So I'm just going to open that data, and you can see the field names match the different headings I have in the first row here with all that subsequent data underneath, which is really good stuff. So as long as you set up your Survey 123 correctly, this stage is quite easy for you. It's going to calculate where we are based on our latitude and longitude, which is really good too. That's also in your file. You can change the title of this, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go create and add to map. And you can see it automatically takes me to the White Island boat ramp, the mangrove forest there, the adjacent mangrove forest, right near the Port of Brisbane. And you can see that's my file there. I can add more layers, but I don't really need to for this data for my senior geography assessment task. So under properties and styles, you can manipulate the data that is presented in your map. So currently, the data we have, if I zoom in, these are just like the 4 locations on each of the quadrats where my students collected their data. This is useless for us, so we're going to pick something else to display. And this is essentially how you display and go through all your data as well. So I go into select fields, and you can see these are the questions that I asked the students to get on Survey 123 when we were collecting that data on the day of our field excursion. So you can see all these Q1s here, they're my quadrats. So that would only show us one or an individual section of each quadrat. So I'm after, maybe for the purpose of this video, ones that end in total estimates. So they're for the whole mangrove forest. So for the purpose of this video today, I'm going to show you, I guess, a map that compares the number of crab holes versus the pneumatophores, or the number of mangroves that we observed in each of the quadrats. So I can click 2 of those at once. I can click add. It'll drop them down over here as a key. So at the moment, I've got the pneumatophore totals are displayed as these proportional symbols with the key here. And then I've got this choropleth scale here for my crab hole total estimates. Let's say I wasn't happy with that. If I just like drag and drop the pneumatophore total up the top, see how it'll switch them around? But I was quite happy with how it was originally. So if I wanted to like change one of these, I would click the X and then go add field and then compare another set of data. Additionally as well, if I wanted to display my data in a different way, I've got all these different categories down here as well. You can also see you can change a little heat map on some data sets as well, which is really handy. But for the purpose of this demo today, I'm going to be making a map comparing the number of crab holes versus the pneumatophore totals as well. Okay, so I can see there was actually a lot more crab holes in the second and third quadrat here compared to the first one, even though there were, a fair few pneumatophores in one section of the quadrat here. Okay, so I'm going to be happy with that. So I'm going to click X on this just so I can zoom out a little bit more. It's almost time to actually start getting our map. We're going to snip it and then put it on Microsoft Paint to tidy it up and put bolts on it as well. There are ways that you can export bolts automatically through ArcGIS, but I think Paint is just easier for manipulating once you put it in your assessment task and so on. So the first thing I need to do is I need to go into Map Tools, and I need to make a measurement. I'm going to zoom in. You need to make your measurement on the water for my demo that I'm doing today. It's in meters. Just for the size of my map, I'm going to do 100 meters. If I can just zoom in there. to keep going. Okay, so I just need to get on as close as I can to 100. It's a little bit tricky. That'll do me for the purpose of this video. And then I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and that's going to save that one like so. I can click map tools again to get rid of that. Okay, so let's say that I'm ready to snip my map now. So what I'm going to do, because I'm recording through snipping tool as well, I'm just going to open my snipping tool like this. I'm going to click new, and then I'm going to get this snip like so. I'm then going to go copy. I'm going to open up a brand new paint file. Then I'm going to go select an area, Control V on my keyboard to paste that map in there. Now, you can make your key underneath your map if you want like a really skinny sort of map, but I'm going to make like a landscape one today. So I'm going to have this space here. I need a fair bit of space for my key, and I'll show you that in just a while. I'm actually going to make that a little bit skinnier. So the first thing I'm going to do is just hit the text button like so, and I want a title that says legend off to the side here. The first thing I might actually do is my scale. So I've already got this like scale on here, right? So what I'm going to do, I want my scale in the bottom corner here. I probably want it to be about that big. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select an area down here, and I'm just going to press delete. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do my scale is just select a line. I probably want a little bit thinner than 5 pixels. I go 3 pixels. And I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm going to go from the middle of this 100-meter line here to this one here. This is now still a live line. If I was to let it go, I would stuff it up. So I want to drag that line away like so, and that's my 100-meter measurement. So I'm just going to pop that in there like so. I'm just going to zoom in on that, and then I'm just going to add some tick lines. Line. Sweet. Like so. I don't know why that one disappeared on me. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to get some text, and then I'm going to type in 100 meters. See if that fits on there. I might make that a little bit smaller, like so. I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to start again. 100 meters, size 14 font. Sweet. And then I might actually make that a little bit lower. So if you need to do this, just hit on the select tool, drag that down a little bit. And I'm going to put a border around that just to make that nice and clean. Excellent. So now I've got my scale done. Now I can get rid of this random 100-meter thing in here. And the reason I did it over the water is just so I can select an area like so, and then you just drag it over the top, and it's like it was never there in the first place. So that's my workaround for that. We can also do our orientation, so our O for bolts. So I'm going to select an area here. I want a arrow pointing north, so I can go on this one like so. I actually might make that arrow a bit thicker. Pull that up to the top. Get some text right and for north. It's also important to just check that your ArcGIS map is facing north or pointing to north originally. I want a box to put a title around it. I only need it 1 pixel in size. So now I've got my orientation. So I've got my orientation. I've started my legend, but I haven't finished it, and I've got my scale as well. Going through bolts, it's time for our legend again. So I'm going to open back up ArcGIS, and I'm going to hit styles. And then I can see, this is one reason I like to do it this way. So I've got my key over this side, and then I'm pretty much just going to cheat in terms of actually grabbing it. So I'm just going to get my snipping tool, and I'm going to snip crab hole total estimates. I'm going to go copy, open up my paint file. I don't want that. I need to select an area. I can just select a random area, hit Control V on my keyboard, and have that like so. That's going to be quite nice there. So I'll just drop that. Next, I'm going to get my new Metaphor totals here, and that's why I had a bit more space on mine originally. I guess that's the limitation if you do like a landscape map. Your longer sort of proportional symbols on ArcGIS maybe a little bit more squeezed in, but we can still do it for the purpose of this video. So going to go in and go Control V, select an area, and I'm going to pop those over here. It's not going to be quite big enough, so I actually might make that a little bit wider, just so I can have that nice and even. Okay, so I'm like nearly finished my legend, so I just want those two titles to be the same. I also need my land cover types on here. So we've got an anthropogenic, or like this is actually like a boat ramp, so it's like road. And then I've got the actual Brisbane River. Then I've got the mangrove forest here. So I've got a few types of land cover. So I want to make my text, I guess, as similar as possible to this one. So I'm going to go land cover types. I might even make that a little bit smaller. Let's get it down to 11. That looks pretty similar. So I'm going to get 3 snips of my land cover types and then make sure they are evenly spread apart. So I'm just going to select an area of the Brisbane River. I'm going to make that pretty small. I can zoom in for accuracy as well. I'm just going to see how that looks once I zoom out. Should be able to fit all 3, which is good. Zooming in again, just for accuracy, and I'm going to get a snip of these mangroves. Probably not too much bigger. I'm going to go Control C, Control V, bring that over, make it the same size, and then go down. Very good. And then I want my anthropogenic land cover as well, so I'm going to just get a tiny snip of that. Zoom in for accuracy again, selecting an area, going Control V, making it the same size as my original one, and then just dragging it down like so. Now, are they evenly spaced apart? That's my next job. Okay, you know what, I might actually put a border around all of those. I don't want it to be round, just to make it look as neat as possible. You know, this has to be like a pretty professional looking map. So I'm going to like chuck a border around all of them. The handy thing is, if you do this on Paint, once you do it once for like your land cover types or certain elements in your key, you have those at your disposal for the rest of the report that you have to write, which is very handy. So I'm just going to make these a little bit more uniform. So now I've got my land cover types, and that looks really nice. So I actually need to finish labeling those. I might make my font just 1 smaller. So this is the Brisbane River. So I can go in and do that. This is the mangrove forest. I want those nice and lined up as well. And then this is, I'm just going to say anthropogenic. And that'll cover me, I guess, for different types of maps as well. I might even say land cover, anthropogenic land cover, to be a bit more accurate. Okay, so now I've got my crab hole total estimates, my pneumatophore totals, I've got my land cover type. So everything on that map now has a proper representation in the legend. I might actually just move that legend title up a little bit more. Okay, so now I can put some borders on my actual map. So I might make these a bit thicker. I want one around the whole map to start off with. And then I want to section off my legend as well. And I can do that with just a line like so. That should be the same size. I want that as straight as I can get it. Perfect. So now I have a map that has a border, an orientation, a legend. It doesn't have a title. It has a scale and it has a source incoming. So I'm going to go select all. So now it's time to put this on my actual assessment task. So I'm going to go Control V, and then I'm just going to open up a Word doc like so. If you have like a report scaffold, you would put it in that. I'm also going to show you how to put it in a text box as well. So I'm going to go insert, I want shape, and I'm going to put it in a text box just so that I can like move it around in my assessment task. So I'm going to hit enter so I can type some stuff underneath that. And then I'm going to hit Control V, and that's going to paste in my assessment task like so. So I've now got a space to type. I can also move this text box around. I can also make it invisible by going like shape, outline, no outline. So now you can't even see it. But if you need to like move it around in your assessment task, you can still do that, which is super handy to do. I want, or Times New Roman. Sweet, Times New Roman 12. That's going to be a good size for me. Might just go down. So I need a title and a source. So I'm going to do figure 1, map of crab holes and new. I didn't pick an easy one to spell, did I? Metaphor totals at White Island Mangrove Forest. That's going to be my title for the purposes of this video. In brackets underneath, you need a source. Now, I actually collected this data myself with my students. So my title is going to be Primary Fieldwork Data Collection. I'll capitalize all that just for the purposes. Okay, to reduce my spacing, if you don't want any spacing, you just go remove spacing after paragraph, and that's just going to make that figure a little bit tighter as well. So using the most modern version of ArcGIS and uploading my own data, I now have a map that has bolts conventions. So, and then it shows 2 pieces of data on it at once, which is really handy if I'm to analyze it in my report. So I have a border, I have an orientation, I have a legend, I have a title, I have a scale and a source. So I'm good to go. So good luck for your senior geography assessments. You can use this video and any other of my videos if you're a student or a teacher out there looking to tackle the senior geography syllabus. Good luck.